And now, with great pleasure, I'd like to ask Clara to come up to tell us about her foundation. So, welcome, Clara.
Hello, my name is Lemarr. I am 13 years old and I will be an 8th grader this next year. I am also the CEO and founder of the Lemarr Foundation. A little bit about me first. I have struggled with health issues my whole life. When I was little, my skin was always turning blue. I was always wanting tons of water to drink. I had issues with sensitivity. I had issues with sensitivity to light, stomach issues, joint pain, stress and anxiety, rashes on my skin, infections, and other issues. My mom had taken me to doctor after doctor, but it wasn't until the week of my 13th birthday that we finally got some real answers. I had been having issues with passing out to the point I couldn't walk across my bedroom floor without blacking out and landing on the floor. I didn't want to worry my mom, so I didn't say anything to her. I got to the point that I thought it was actually normal. After all, I had all these other issues and the doctors kept saying it was in my head. One night I was at my violin lesson and I started getting sick. I was fidgeting around and luckily my orchestra teacher realized something was definitely wrong. He told my mom that I turned ice cold and was clammy. I felt like I was going to pass out in front of everyone. My mom and teacher got me sat down, then got me into the car. In the car, I finally came clean to my mom about what has been happening. She asked if the passing out was happening a lot, and I explained that was the reason that for the last 2 months I wasn't coming out of my room. We immediately went to the ER. They did a ton of tests, brain scans, blood work, x-rays, test after test. Finally, the nurse came in and said, "We know something is wrong with her, but we can't figure it out. You need to get her to the pediatrician right away." The next day, my mom got me in to see Dr. Mancini. She asked us a ton of questions, and at the end of all the questions, she told us that she believed it was POTS or postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. Okay, we know what that is. We knew someone else too that had it. That person was okay. Add a little Gatorade and I should be back to normal. Dr. Mancini told us we need to get into a very good specialist, Dr. Hassan Abdallah, at Children's Heart Institute in Herndon, Virginia. She said call right away and tell them you need an appointment and explain how often she is passing out. This is the doctor you need to see. So we left the office and my mom got on the phone with CHI right away. Once she explained the issues, they wanted to see me right away. So the next day we were off to Herndon, Virginia. And that is where the story really begins to twist and turn, but in all the right directions. I met with Miss Hannah Abdallah first. Then she pulled in Dr. Hassan Abdallah. They had us do a ton of testing, heart scans, carotid artery scans, aortic scans, pulmonary breathing, blood pressure testing. It was one test after another. At the end, they came in, sat us down, and said, "Yes, we are sure it is POTS, but we also believe it is either Marfan's or Ehlers-Danlos syndrome." My mom and I looked at each other, and we had no idea, but it didn't sound good. There were more tests I had to have done, tons of blood work, and something they called a tilt table test. I had to come back the following week and wear a heart monitor from the testing just from that day. They could see the changes in my BP and clinical signs of both POTS and EDS, but they were thinking possibly more pains because of how long my arms and legs were. We went back the next week. They got all the blood testing back, and once everything was compiled, Dr. Hassan Abdallah came back in and confirmed the diagnosis. POTS with Ehlers-Danlos hypermobility, but no more pains. They had found that my heart valves are leaking slightly, and they said I would need to be on medications, but okay, we can deal with that because there was a cure, right? And then they delivered the news. EDS is not curable. There is little research being done due to funding. It can be progressive, and it can affect every system in the body because it affects the collagen. Collagen is the building block of every system in the body. How can that be? Dr. Abdullah said right now you have a good chance that it won't be severe, but it will get worse as you hit your older teen years. Well, unfortunately, my symptoms did get much worse. Initially, I was only taking about 18 pills a day and 200 ounces of Gatorade, but then every week I kept getting sicker and sicker. Massive migraine, headaches, stomach pains, rashes, everything I had before was all coming back. We were traveling to her then almost every week as new symptoms popped up. I struggled to get up in the morning for school. There were times that I would pass out trying to walk up my stairs in my house. My head, neck, and shoulders, everything hurt all the time. My joints started popping, ankles, hips, and knees. Then I broke out in hives for 3 days straight and started having breathing problems that exhausted me. Within the first 2 months of my initial diagnosis, I was sent for more and more exams, more and more tests. They believed it was Chiari's malformation on top of POTS and EDS, causing neurological issues and some of the pain. I am still in the middle of testing for Chiari's because we are still trying to get my other issues stabilized first. I was also diagnosed with mast cell activation syndrome. That is where the mast cells in my body have decided to get crazy and attack my normal cells for a lack of better explanation. So I must now travel with Benadryl and EpiPens. And because I temporarily lost all my hearing due to MCAS, I am also on special mix of medications to ensure my MCAS stays in check and to keep my hearing. I now take more than 40 pills a day to keep me up and moving. This is my story. There is more to it, but it is the background to why I am the founder of the Lemarr Foundation. When I was first diagnosed, I was really worried about other kids that had undiagnosed POTS and EDS. I did not want any other child to ever go through what I had on the past to diagnosis. So I told my mom I want to help others, I want to make sure that other kids get better treatments than I did and sooner. No one should have to wait 13 years to be diagnosed, and we need to get doctors educated so they know the signs and symptoms of this rare disease. My mom said okay, and we started the process of forming the 501c3 named after me, the Lemarr Foundation, in August of 2015. We are so excited to offer services and education to help to others and help to children. I wanted to also raise money to find a cure for all these disorders, POTS, EDS, Chiari's, and MCAS. I wanted to also make sure that other kids do not have the same experience in the ERs that I have had. Sometimes POTS kids need IV fluids, but when I have had to head to the ER for fluids, the doctors give my mom a hard time, saying it will ruin her veins. So she always has to fight to get me help and what I desperately need. In the end, she always gets me the help, but it shouldn't always be a struggle. And other doctors, when we explain I have EDS, you can see their eyes glaze over and they have no clue what you're talking about. It should not be like that. We took my story of the foundation to the media outlets, both TV and newspaper. After my initial video hit WSA 9 News, there was a huge outpouring of people wanting information. Then we started getting contacted by tons of other families. There were others like me everywhere. In my school, I was the first to have a 504 plan for these issues, and then there was another case after my story, and now there are 4 other kids just in my school that have now received proper diagnosis of EDS. In our town, we helped get a support group for invisible illnesses up and running. Originally, I was the only one officially diagnosed, and the group started with only 3 families. Now there are 30 families that have finally received proper diagnosis and are in the support group. We are making a difference. Just like this walk, we can all make a difference. The foundation supports you. The foundation supports you. We are here to help you, to help educate, to spread awareness, to offer services, support, and help. Together, we become a force that can be heard. We are no longer need to be invisible. We are visible. We are a large family of zebras. Whether you have KREs, EDS, POTS, MCAS, or the plethora of other invisible illnesses, you are not alone. We are super excited to help bring kids together through our zebra camp that will be taking place on August 4th through the 7th, 2016. How cool is it to get a bunch of zebras children together so they can all share stories, but also be like other normal children that maybe would not otherwise experience camp. Well, that is why the Clara Lemarr Foundation is here, to help bring a smile to all zebras. We hope that if you are able, you will be able to send your son or daughter to camp too. Robert Frost once wrote a poem that you will probably recognize. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim because it was grassy and wanted where, though as for the passing there had warned them really about the same. And both the morning equally lay, and leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Some are ages and ages hence. Two roads diverge in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by. And that has made all the difference. It is a very fitting poem for all of us, as we are all on the path less traveled as we navigate our way through these illnesses. But as we travel along the way, we can make a difference. We can be found at www.claramarfoundation.org, or we can be found on Facebook. We also have a YouTube channel where we publish updates along with information. We have brochures available that can be shared with doctors. We also offer assistance in getting 504 plans established at your school. Please feel free to reach out if you need assistance or are interested in Zebra Camp. I want to thank the CSF group for allowing me to share my story and the work we are doing at the Lemarr Foundation to help support all of you and your families. Stay Zebra strong.